I sat in Morgan's velvet desk chair, a lavender bralette hanging loose against my flat chest. The gap between the fabric and my skin was a void, a silent, cruel accusation of the biology I was trying to escape. But Morgan just smiled, holding up 2 flesh-tone pads.
The canvas is prepped,
she said,
but we need to alter the topography before we paint.
Last time on Becoming Lacey, I took my terrifying first steps in black patent leather heels. I learned to unlock my hips and surrender to the glide. Morgan claimed me as her own, gifting me a velvet necklace. It was then that I realized I wasn't a broken boy. I was a girl who had finally been seen.
Sit up straight,
Morgan instructed.
Pull the straps down.
Morgan peeled the plastic backing off one of the adhesive pads with a wet shick.
The trick isn't just padding,
she instructed, her voice a low hum.
It's displacement. You have soft skin here, Lacey. We're going to borrow it.
She pressed the cold, tacky pad low on my right side, near my ribcage. It grabbed instantly. Then, gripping the top of it, she pulled, up and in. I looked down, my breath catching in my throat. On the right side of my chest, a curve had appeared. I applied the left pad myself with trembling fingers, pulling the skin inward to meet the right. The result was undeniable. A deep, vertical shadow formed in the center. Cleavage. I pulled the straps back up. The cups, previously empty, now hugged the new curves. I pressed my hands to my chest. It felt solid. It felt real.
Now,
Morgan said,
close your eyes. I want you to feel the boy being painted over.
I shut my eyes, sealing myself into the darkness. First came the primer. It felt cool and gelatinous, massaging into my pores.
This is the eraser,
Morgan whispered.
Goodbye, stubble shadows. We are burying Kyle.
Then, the damp bounce of a makeup sponge. Pat, pat, pat. Next was the highlighter, swept across the tops of my cheekbones, followed by a warm, dry dusting of blush on the apples of my cheeks. I imagined the color blooming there, a soft, dusty rose. I felt the cool bristles of an angled brush sweep down the center of my chest, darkening the newly formed cleft, followed by a dusting of pearlescent powder on the peaks, physics and shadow, creating heavy, rounded volume where there used to be nothing.
Mascara, don't blink,
Morgan commanded. I felt the heavy, wet pull of the wand on my lashes, forcing a drowsy, feminine languor onto my expression. Finally, the scent of strawberries and sugar filled the air. A doe-foot sponge slid across my bottom lip, leaving a thick, slick trail of cold gloss. I felt silenced, decorated, constructed. The chaotic, accidental biology of Kyle had been entirely overwritten by design.
Inhale the woman I just put on you,
Morgan whispered, her voice thick with pride.
Now open your eyes.
A wet, ragged gasp tore out of my throat. The person looking back was not Kyle. My skin glowed with an inner porcelain luminescence. High, pricked cheekbones caught the amber light, and my eyes, framed by heavy ink-black lashes, were enormous, liquid, and unmistakably female. My gaze drifted lower, pulled by a magnetic gravity. The lavender lace bralette cradled soft, rounded flesh, split down the middle by a deep, shadowed valley of cleavage. It defied biology. It shattered Mr. Grayson's male column into dust. Is this? My voice fractured. I pressed my palms against the swell of my chest. Is this real? Morgan stepped into the light behind me, placing her hands on my shoulders.
You don't just look beautiful,
she corrected gently.
You look like yourself.
It's me, I wept. The tears spilled over, tracing hot paths down my cheeks. For 18 years, the boy in the mirror had been the mask. This wet-eyed girl with the heaving chest and the trembling hands, she was the truth that had been buried alive. I leaned in until my breath fogged the glass. You are real, I vowed to the reflection, my glossed lips moving with the words. I am real.
Next time on Becoming Lacey.
Back in the suffocating silence of my parents' house, surrounded by the threat of discovery, I have to prove that Lacey can survive on her own. I recreate the ritual, stepping into the uniform of the girl I was meant to be, and pacing the shadows of my bedroom as my own protector. Watch as I try to recreate what Morgan unlocked, but only in the next episode.